because the only Republican that's really influential on this board is one Liz Cheney. So, there's really no one there to keep them accountable, and they can kind of say whatever they want, which is not what a hearing is.
Yeah, and it's a total coordinated effort with the mainstream media to fool over millions of Americans. But I have some fun numbers here because I don't think these hearings turned out like Liz Cheney and the Democrats hoped they would. So the hearing was it last Thursday or Friday?
It was the end of last week, I want to say.
One of those nights. I think there's another one going on today, and of course, I'm sure no one's listening to that one either. So ABC brought in 4.35 million viewers for the hearing. Now, on the surface, some people are like, oh, that's so many people. Some people watch. Well, that same segment usually draws in 7.4 million viewers. So, I mean, it's nearly half as many as usual watching ABC in that segment. So, obviously people tuned out. People didn't care. Same with NBC. Normally, they get about 6 million viewers. They had 3.3 million. So again, about half of what they normally do. And then CBS brought in 3.24 millions. That was below their usual average of 4.3. So, I mean, literally millions of people. And this is people who watch mainstream media. I mean, it's not even like we're talking about conservatives or anything like that. These are just probably liberal-leaning people who tuned out in the millions to avoid watching the sham committee hearings.
Yeah, I remember I was at the gym, and usually they have, the news channels on, and it was the same thing, on every channel, Like, the same people talking. When I was looking up at the TV, it was Liz Cheney, because she talked a lot during the hearing. But it was just her talking, and it was on every TV, like NBC, ABC, CBS, just the same broadcast. And I'm sure that probably happens more than I really realize. So maybe it's not that out of the ordinary, but it felt kind of dystopian to see the same thing being broadcast on all these cable news channels.
Well, that's why I think I made the point that it's literally a coordinated effort between the January 6th committee and mainstream media to convince voters that January 6th was an insurrection. It was not an insurrection, and that you cannot vote for a Republican in November, or you're a threat to democracy. And so that, like I said, when you have that coordination between a government committee and the media, that's a major problem. The other thing I think is hilarious. Liz Cheney, if you don't know, is facing a primary challenge in Wyoming. Wyoming is one of the most conservative states in the country. She's getting crushed. I mean, destroyed. She betrayed Republicans, I think, by joining this committee. I mean, she's just as bad as the Democrats, if not even worse than the Democrats. Well, she's now getting crushed by her challenger. I think she only has 26 or 28% of the primary vote, and her opponent is double digits ahead of her, which I think is great. Vote her out. Vote anyone out who supports the sham committee.
Yeah, I think you're right that she betrayed Republicans by joining this committee, but I don't think it was the simple act of joining the committee, because I think if they had put a real Republican on there, then that person would have been able to, like we talked about, hold them accountable, or at least present the other side a little bit. The January 6th committee purposely selected her because they knew she would not stand up to anything they said. She would agree with everything, because she really is not a Republican. I mean, I don't know how else to characterize it. She does not have conservative views that she fights for. Her main platform of the last year and a half has just been that she hates Trump. Which is exactly what Biden ran on. So I guess she's taking a page out of his book.
Nice
but
going.
She has nothing of substance to add. She's just there to be a Republican figurehead so that the committee can say that they had a Republican on, when that's really not the case.